Okay, so what we will do today is we will talk a little bit about your progress. So how we doing? We also have discussed with Simon. You kind of missed that discussion about the presentations for the class of where you are about the format. So I will discuss it in a minute. And then the final thing is, yeah, there was a question about deliverable dates and deadlines. So we will set a kind of an oral exam date, probably towards the end of November. And then the deliverable will be about a week or 10 days before that, right? So you will have to submit your final deliverable then, but you will have to prepare this sort of a presentation for the class before that. So maybe we kind of quickly go around the table and you sort of discuss a little bit about the progress. So
yes, my progress so far isn't that amazing. I've discussed with Christopher a bit last week and this week. So what it probably will turn out to be is more of a feasibility study on the sensors of accelerometer and gyroscope as usage in motion capture. Because and that is specifically with different types of devices, to see whether or not the accelerometers can be used by if you have different devices together. I've found actually, because my original idea was to create a motion capture system using several devices attached to your body. So I ended up finding last week a paper that had actually done exactly that. So I ended up just going, okay, I'm gonna have to sort of change a bit, and I'm gonna do more of a check on using different devices. Because they use the same device. They all use the same Samsung Galaxy S3.
Okay. So, attached to the body.
Yes.
And the error rates and everything was working okay? Like, was the a space for improvement on what they've done?
They didn't actually mention too much about that. I haven't read it perfectly yet, but it did seem to sort of work. There were some errors, but that's probably mostly because they don't add too much smoothing. It seemed more like research rather than a fully fledged application. But it did look sort of
more like a proof of concept.
Yes, yeah. It looked like more of a prototype. Yeah, I'll be doing probably more of a feasibility study.
Okay. Because you could replicate what somebody else did and kind of do more measurements and kind of,
I will
evaluate it better.
Try it if I still have the time to do it. That's just my biggest concern now is time. I will go at it like it's a feasibility study, but if I do notice that I have extra time, I will do sort of try and implement it and see if I can get it working. Okay. Because in my head, it shouldn't be too much work. Yes.
Yeah, all right.
And that's sort of the thing I'm worried about, is what's in my head doesn't always transfer properly into reality. So I will go at it like a feasibility study. And do it if I have time.
All right. Next.
I've just finished reading the paper that I found that I consider necessary for my work. I've started writing it, but not in an organized way. Just put the ideas so I can continue. In this state, I don't know.
Okay. So you think your progress is okay? Are you worried about time, or you think you're on track?
So
okay.
I think I will finish.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. Doing context information. and I have some articles. I'm still trying to find more. Started writing the introduction, so I haven't written that much. I was planning to do more in the course yesterday, but then we suddenly got to know that we have a presentation in another course just over the weekend, so I have to do that instead. So I don't have that much to discuss, basically.
Okay. And again, like your progress, your process is okay?
Yeah,
you feel you're on track?
Yeah.
All right. No road blockers?
No records, yeah.
Okay.
I'll ask you for help if I stop for some reason.
Yeah. All right.
As for me, actually, I don't really know if my progress is acceptable, or I mean, personally, I feel like I'm a little bit late, but I'm often harsh with myself, so I don't really know.
All right.
Well, so far my prototype has advanced. Like I had like a lot of technical problems in the beginning, so I couldn't start like what I wanted to, but I managed to catch up with the time. So for now, I mean, I would say my prototype should be like two parts. The first part is the preparation of the game, and the second part is the main algorithm for the game itself. For now, I've already finished all the first part. Sorry, about the preparation of the game, so I can even like show you a short demonstration. I just have I would say, I'm not saying it's an issue because I know how to solve it. It's about the different I would say quick compositions, because like what I wanted to do is offer the possibility for the storyteller to have either a custom way of building the deck, so he chooses everything, the roles and everything, and another path where we suggest some compositions, like pre-made compositions. The thing is, it highly depends on the number of players, even the extensions, but for now I'm only considering the base game, and I will add the extensions if I have the time. But even though it highly depends on like a lot of parameters, so I haven't managed yet to make I would say suitable compositions. So yeah, so far we can only create a custom game, but it works. And now I have to work on the main algorithm, which is the biggest part of the project. The thing is, I'm worrying about time, but not because of the prototype, but because of the report.
Right. Yeah.
Because like I'm not really used to write like that kind of reports. I've made it before, but not really that much. And yeah, that's mainly the thing. Like
Okay.
I don't really know how to do it, so I'm kind of worried about it.
So yeah, so the report is part of your deliverable. The prototype is also a deliverable, right? So because your work was more of a feasibility and proof of concept study, so you actually developed this artifact.
Yeah.
And there are kind of two ways of approaching it. So one way is that you build a tool for you to measure something, and then you use that tool to gather the data and to kind of describe it. Or in your case, it might be a tool to sort of explore the space and see what can be done in that space with this mobile app, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So then you just have to explore it, like in the report, explain like what did you try, what the constraints were, what the assumptions were, and where is the space where you haven't explored yet, right?
Okay.
So because you have a limited amount of time, you cannot, do it for everything, for every possible case, and so on. You're making certain assumptions, and you just need to explain it in the report, right?
Okay.
And also you can explain in the report like what you've actually implemented, what did you test it, like how did it work out, all the little things that that you went through in the process.
Okay.
So the report is kind of more of a account of what you've built, what you've tested, what the assumptions you've made, and what's next, like what would be the follow-up. basically, right? And together with your prototype, that will be the kind of deliverable. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So we kind of going around the table, discussing where everybody is, how they doing. So can you sort of summarize?
Yeah, summarizing. So for me, I had my environment set up, and currently I'm using Android.
Mm-hmm.
I told you I'm using like a mix of computer vision with mobile application.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't find many papers or documents discussing what I'm doing, so it's kind of new for me.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've done is till now is like it's a mobile. It starts and the user starts to capture images and videos
Mm-hmm.
for a certain length.
Mm-hmm.
And currently, I'm investigating how to do my computer vision stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm using Tango
Mm-hmm.
API, but I haven't done like a real thing till now. Yeah, I've done the Android part,
Mm-hmm.
but not the computer vision.
Do you have the device? Do you have a Tango
no,
device?
not here.
Okay.
But I can send it later.
Right. Yeah.
For the report, no, not yet. I'll write it after finishing.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So similar to you, you may be kind of running low in time. Like there is the development part usually take more than we think, even if it looks simple.
Yeah.
It always turns up there is more time needed. Sometimes it's not hard. It's just that you need to spend time on it. So you try to assess like how much time you have left and what can you do, right? So scoping what has to be done now and what can be done later, you have to make those decisions, right? You cannot do everything. You have to say, okay, I'm only doing this part and that part is like future work. So please reassess what possibly is feasible in the remainder of the time. So to add insult to the injury, we decided with Simon that we would like you guys to explore a little bit the way you present your work, right? So normally in the course, what would happen is we would have a session where everybody presents and kind of show and tell of what they've done and what they've learned and what other people did. And you have like a short lecture, like, half an hour where you present to others. Like those guys who had classes with me, we kind of had that before, right? And if you did the entrepreneurship course, have you done entrepreneurship course in the first year of master? Yeah, you did, right? Did you have to present like a pitch?
What I remember is like how to market your idea.
Yeah. But like, did you do like a pitch in the class, or did you have to record a video?
Yeah, we did like a video.
Yeah, exactly. So the only course where you actually were forced to prepare a video is the entrepreneurship course. And we thought, okay, most of you didn't. So let's do that in this course and in the games, right? So what we would like you to do is you will record yourself on a video using your laptop, and you present the background, the motivation for your work and what you've done, using some slides and just talking about it. And we would like you to use OBS or an equivalent recording software, which allows you to do the screen capture and have a camera recording you. So you can stand or you can sit and you sort of are present in the presentation, right? So you can experiment a little bit with OBS or with another recording package for the camera and the screen, and then plan, okay, what would I want to show on the screen? Do I want to show like a prototype of my mobile app? So I can show like the screen of the Android app and kind of navigate through. So kind of a show and tell, like how it works. Or do I want slides, or do I want slides and the demo? It depends what you've been doing, right? If you've been doing literature review, you can present some slides with a summary, and you can kind of highlight some things from the PDFs. So you can show some sort of highlights from the PDFs as well. But it's up to you, right? So you have a freedom of actually thinking about it, how you want to present it. And the key point is that you will have to record it, right? So you kind of plan it, then record it, and then share it with the rest of the students. You don't have to put it on YouTube. You don't have to publicize it. It can be just within our class, but it will be published to everybody in the class, so everybody can watch it. If you want to publish it on YouTube or whatever, that's fine. Like I encourage you to do that, right? If you feel you did a good job, okay. But if you feel a little bit uncomfortable, you know, for being criticized or whatever, then maybe you don't want to do that, and that's fine too. So then what will happen is we will share this video with everybody, and then we will kind of allow people to comment on it. So we will have like a feedback form where you say, okay, what did you learn from it? What was the good or bad things from the video? And how would you suggest an improvement? So you can kind of give comments to other students of what you liked, what you didn't like, and what you like, how they could improve their work. So we have some sort of a feedback system. And we haven't decided with Simon exactly if everybody's doing everybody's videos, because that's a lot of work, or you only need to do like 2 or 3 videos, right? So we encourage you to watch everybody's videos, of course, but the feedback will only be probably to a limited number. So we'll kind of split everybody to do some videos, but not everybody's, right? But then again, if you feel you have some comments for somebody's videos, you will be able to do that too, right? It's not just limited.
When would that be?
Yes, and when that would be. So the idea is that would be in 2 weeks' time, right? So you will have next week to do this, and then the following week we will have the time, like a week, for doing the feedback. So people will have time to watch it and provide feedback. So Simon will explain it to you on the, like those of you who are doing the games as well. He will tell you the dates. I don't have the dates yet, but I would suggest that we spend this and next week for preparing it, and then the following week we will have for reviewing and watching it, right? So
for the prototype and the video, or just the video?
Just the video. The submission for the final report and the prototype is, as I said, it will be towards the end of November. Like, we have to agree with Simon and Christopher potentially when we have time to do the oral exam, and then we just need to see your deliverable like some days before the exam, so we can check it, and then in the exam we will discuss it, because we will kind of, the oral exam is about your work, is about the report and about the prototype, right? So we have to have a little bit of time to prepare ourselves before the exam, and then we will have like a discussion about it. So that is after the presentation. The video is sort of in before the final delivery. You don't need to have everything finished yet. You just need to present what you've been doing and, you know, how far you've got. And if you haven't finished everything, then yeah, you just, in the video you just say, okay, those are the next like things that I will be doing. So you know, for some of you it will be like a closure. It's like you're already finished, and you like record the video as if the work is done, so you're kind of presenting the results. But for some of you, next week might not still be the final end yet, so then you just present what you've done and okay, what's left, right, to do. And I really like this idea, because I think kind of our video skills and being able to present your work in a video format is a skill that, like, it's not that natural. Like, you have to learn it, and by practicing it you kind of become better in it, right, at it. So it's not necessarily super hard, and it's not like rocket science, but you need to plan of how you kind of guide the viewer from the beginning to the end, like what is the format that you want it to have. So you can keep it as sort of like a lecture format, that you just do like you know, a couple of slides and you just talk about it, or you can make it a little bit more interesting by including like a demo and some sort of snippets from papers or some highlights, right? And Simon suggested that we do minimum 15 minutes, so 15 to 20 minutes, right? So try not to be too long, not to plan for like, you know, 40 minutes. Try to constrain yourself to maximum 20 minutes, but don't don't rush. So kind of go through the material rather comprehensively, right? So you know, if you do 13 minutes, it was okay, right? But try to shoot at about 15 minutes. Sometimes it's like hard to really time the whole thing. So if you go a little bit shorter or a little bit longer, that's okay. Right. Questions? Suggestions? Do you like the idea of making a video? Have you used OBS before or any other screen capture software? Yeah. So for some of you, it will be not that new. For some of you, it will be the first experience. That's fine. Like
OBS isn't that hard to use anyways.
No.
Yeah.
It's
Very easy, and there's a million tutorials on it. So.
Yeah. And also, if any of you have problems, then ask around or ask us, right? So, you know, don't get stuck on a technology. It's harder
We do know.
yeah, it's harder to guide you like how to do it nicely. That is a little bit of a creative process. But on the technology side, there should be no road stoppers. Like it should be just simple. And OBS is pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
The
best thing is you have scenes, you have hotkeys to switch scenes, so you can do really fancy stuff if you actually want to do so.
Yeah, that's right.
You don't actually have to edit the video either if you do it well.
Yeah, during the recording. Yeah. Yes, exactly. So Simon's idea is also that if you don't want to do any editing afterwards, then just shoot in a single go and switch screens or whatever, and that's fine. But if you want to put a little bit more effort and you kind of want to shoot a couple of things and then put it together in some editing software, then that's fine too. Which software do you use?
Power Director.
Yeah, Power Director.
for editing.
Yeah, for editing. So you may find some other open source free editing tools. I've used Camtasia, which has a 30 days free trial period as well. So you can just download it and use it for 30 days for free as well. That one is it's pretty simple. Although I think OBS gives you more options for switching different scenes and arranging the screen while you're recording. Whether with Camtasia, you're sort of recording both streams and then you post-processing it, you post-editing it where you want the screens to be and how you want it to be. So it requires you to do the editing afterwards.
The nice thing about doing editing afterwards is you can record audio and video separately. And
that's right.
Do some processing on the audio
to
make it sort of nicer to listen to. If you have a very staticky mic, you might want to remove the static. So it's nicer to listen to.
Yeah, that's true.
A lot easier to listen to a 15-minute video if there's not a lot of sound in the background. Basically. If
the noise is removed, then yeah, exactly. You can also edit some commentary, like you may have a demo and then record the commentary afterwards.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Any other questions about this?
Are there other participants in the Hangout?
One. Is it you or someone else?
No.
We have one viewer. Yeah. But it's a viewer, it's not the actual participant that we can ask questions.
Right.
So you can join, when we're doing the streams, you can join using Hangouts, and then you become like a participant where you can ask questions and we can switch to you, or you can view it on YouTube where it's just a stream where you passively observe it, right? That's true. Yeah. So even if it's on the YouTube, you can chat. You can use the comments section as a text. That's true. All right. So I think it will be kind of a good experience, good exercise. And then if we have those videos kind of constrained to about 15 minutes, it's not a lot of time, and you can watch everybody's like presentations. We then will provide you comments as well as a feedback, but we want kind of a peer review to happen. So we will probably use the same system which we used last semester for the essays, but this time we'll just use it for videos, right? So you will be able to kind of comment. You don't need to counter argue or yeah, counter video for the video. But we will prepare like a little template of what we would like you to address. So like, what did you learn? What new things you've learned from the presentation? What did you like? What could be improved? And what suggestions do you have? So more or less something like that. Yes. So how many of you think that you will continue with the projects or part of the projects that you've started here towards your masters? How well it is aligned to what you want to do for the masters?
Mine isn't aligned at all.
Okay.
So
No, not aligned.
no, because I sort of changed my topic for masters, so it's not aligned at all.
Right. For others, similar.
Mine is like it's a little bit away from what I study, but I still like the field, so
Okay.
that's why I'm in.
So do you feel it would be better if we make more effort into aligning it, or do you feel it's okay if you learn something new in this course and then do something else for the masters? Because there are two approaches to that. Like, one is that it's just like a learning experience. You learn some new skills, you learn some new areas, and then that's okay. It's part of the master package, but it doesn't like, it's not interlinked with the thesis itself. Or that it's part of the project that you want to do, and the master project then becomes a bit bigger because you have more time kind of work towards that project. So what is your feeling?
My feeling, at least, is it should be aligned towards it, because it gives you some of the experience you need for a master, so you don't have to do it in that semester. Since this is sort of the preparation semester for that.
Yeah.
So I do think that would be
more preferable.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't agree.
Okay.
Just like I thought, it's like 6 months for next semester. It will be okay to cover what we want. Beside that, we have this semester and the last year. So discovering some
new things,
areas,
learning other areas. Yeah, exactly. So that was also a discussion with which we had just now. We were discussing because in some master projects, some master programs, you have very minimal master thesis component, maybe like 7.5 points only, and the rest is taught. So you taught different areas on kind of a more advanced level, and you're only doing a very small amount of research work. In some master programs, you're only doing research work. You're not taught at all. Like, you're just given time to work on your single project, right? So those are two extremes. And our program is a little bit in between. You kind of have taught components, you have a guidance through the process, and then you have a reasonably big master thesis component. So, what is your opinion? Like, where would you, like, knowing this program and knowing the potential extremes, what do you feel is the best?
I think you should probably keep it as is, because the way things are now, every student can choose themselves what they want to do in each and every course, pretty much. If they want to do something for the master thesis, then they can go do that. If they want to learn something new, they can do that.
Yeah, so it allows a bit of a flexibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually feel that there should be a 15-point course for the third semester, because juggling 4 projects can be very hard, compared to like 3. Because it doesn't matter if it's a large project or that you have to do more work. It's just you don't have to think about 4 different things. You just have to think about 3 things.
Right.
Well, that's my opinion, because I've been sort of struggling with that over the semester. That's why I'm sort of behind this as well.
Right.
So
I agree with him, actually, because research project planning and advanced project work both correlate to the thesis, but they're separate.
Yeah.
So they should probably be joined together into one 15-point course instead. So do proper project work and planning in the same course.
Right.
So you don't get results.
Yeah.
Instead, you discuss the results in the actual thesis if you continue working on it.
yeah, because that's the yeah, that's perfect. That's I've completely forgot what I was going to say. Yeah, I do agree with them. So
Not in my chat. Seriously, my chat is empty. Group chat, nothing. Okay. So you.
It's just
oh yeah, I think it would be preferable to do that in the Max course at least.
Yeah.
Because Max people like doing practical work usually. So having a 15-point course for them would be excellent.
Right.
It might not fit for other courses because they don't actually have the advanced project work. Maybe they might only have the research project planning because we're actually merged together with all the classes.
That's true. We're trying to unify it better. So we're trying to make the Max, because now we only have Max kind of program.
Yeah.
And the color people are kind of part of the same pipeline, so to speak. So we're trying to align that everybody's doing similar things and advanced project work. Yeah, there was a discussion whether the color, because they don't have that one. So how to engage the color lab with the Max more. There was also a discussion of involving with the integration project and with the applied computer science project, other like projects with color lab too.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, how do you like the applied computer science project and integration project?
They were okay. It's not. It's basically introduction into research. I do think they should probably focus more on. At least I think in the course in general should focus more on teaching you how to actually find research papers.
Right.
Because that's sort of the thing that I'm struggling most with. Just finding the appropriate research papers for things, because not knowing whether or not they're relevant might be kind of hard to do. Yeah, but doing practical work is always welcome. So, yeah, knowing how to write a research paper is also very good. So, but a lot of them are. There's a lot of independence, which can be both a good and a bad thing. So far, the independence thing hasn't been too bad. This semester it has been sort of bad.
Yeah.
Because figuring out what to do was sort of hard in a lot of the courses. So, I don't know. Just some of my personal opinions on it.
Yeah, we're trying to get the stream shared.
is this the stream is in the chat?
Say it again?
He is in the chat, right? So he's obviously watching it. So how can he participate?
Yeah, he can ask here questions if he wants, or he can give here and show me his email address. I can.
No, you send a request.
Yeah, because if he joins here, then his chat would be here, and he can. I can switch to his camera and mic.
There's no link to join there.
Yeah.
So did you have it working?
Say it again?
Did you have this working?
Yeah. We had it working before. So normally what we do, we kind of join people into a group first. So then I can just invite the group.
Yeah, okay, that's not
Yeah, so he's not part of the GTL because he doesn't see, because the link was posted to the GTL page.
okay.
Yeah. So if you change to yourself.
I gave him a long time.
Where are you?
I'm going.
You can't change to yourself?
I prefer not to.
Okay, so if you do,
Yep, I know. That's where we are. That's what he sees.
but you should be able to go
To Hangouts.
to Hangouts, yes.
Oh, damn, my account really long.
Yeah, it is.
Why's my account gone? We have different problems here now. Alright, okay, cool, yeah. Hangouts. So, just say it.
Hangout on there, yeah.
Oh no, it's not. So, oh, let's see what he sees.
But that's not. Let me invite you again.
Don't invite me. I see.
What is the email address on this one you're using? Oh yeah. Nope. Okay, show me this one.
Which one?
This one.
Yeah, we're just friendly trying to use technology.
Yeah, sorry.
So,
Sorry for mucking around.
technology should never stop you. Apparently it does sometimes. So,
Especially in a technology course.
yes, exactly. It sounds very unprofessional. I admit that. But things change constantly. So,
And YouTube changes all the time.
yeah,
So
that's right. That's right. So it's about mucking around.
Indeed.
Good. Hopefully, perhaps.
We good, but let me do this. Let me do a little bit of a trick. Okay.
What did you get?
By magic. Exactly. That's how you join it. All
How
right.
do you get them?
So, going. So, right. Okay. So he joined eventually. Yeah, the stream is recorded, so you can watch the beginning. Right. Okay. Can you?
So can you hear me?
Yeah, the stream is recorded, so you can watch the beginning. There is a little bit of feedback. If you want to ask questions, you can.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, the stream is recorded, so you can watch. There is a little bit of feedback.
There's also a delay. So not easy.
So yes, we can hear you. There is a feedback, so you have to quiet your mic or turn off the volume when you're talking, and seem to be a little bit of a delay between the Hangouts chat and your YouTube feed. So maybe kill the YouTube and just use the Hangouts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
things that I go.
Yeah. Okay. So it may not work with them actually talking.
But typing.
Yeah, you can type, but then doing a bit of a update by typing, it's not.
Serious.
Yeah, but tedious, but yeah.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, fine.
Great, it works. All right, so would you like to do a short summary of your progress?
Yes, yes, of course, I would like to do this. Yeah.
Okay, so let's do that.
Okay, so just to remind you, I wanted to create an application in which based on the locations of the two users, you can trigger an event. That's the application I wanted to create.
Yep.
And the first step for me was to create an event based upon a fixed location. That is when the location is fixed. That is when the user fixes a location. Say that a reminder is put at a particular location. For example, if I have to borrow or return a book from the NTNU library, so the user will just fix a reminder on this particular location, so that whenever he is in the radius of that location, let us say 100 meters far from that location, and event triggers, so that it reminds him that yes, you have to return or you have to borrow the book from the NTNU library. So this was the first step, and this I'm able to do this thing and it's working fine. And now the next step is to create an event based upon the location of another mobile user. So for this case, what I have done is I have set up a server on Amazon EC2 instance. And now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to learn about a parse server queries. That is how to access or how to retrieve some data values which is stored on the parse server. So that's what is a short update from me.
Okay. So I think you have kind of two aspects to your work. So one is this kind of putting things together and kind of demonstrating how it can be implemented and how it may work. And the other one is, which is slightly harder, but is related to the first one, is how do you represent the policies and the events which involve multiple users, right? So how would I express that I want a certain notification when Christopher is at a particular location? Like, how would I declaratively specify it so then the system can execute those triggers upon the situation when it happens?
Correct.
So that one is quite interesting because it requires you to think how users will kind of declaratively do those setups. And then we go back to the first problem of how you actually put it together and how you implement it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So are you thinking of doing a little bit more complex scenarios where the triggers are dependent on multiple users or currently only on a single user?
No, I am thinking of this scenario where at least I will start with the very basic where the trigger is dependent upon at least the location of two users. When say the two users are in the radius of 300 meters, a trigger yes.
Yeah.
And
okay.
Well, at least we'll have privacy and ethical things to write about in the report.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, thanks for the summary. Do you have any like roadblocks or any problems that hinder your progress, or are you feeling you're going okay?
In the beginning, I did have, because I wrote the code for my Android application for some API level greater than Marshmallow, and I'm using a version which is not Marshmallow, so I had to change something in the Android Studio code.
Okay.
That was there.
Yep.
And I had few other issues also, but thanks to Stack Overflow, it helped me. And now what I'm doing is I'm learning about the parse queries, and I will have some issues, but again, I think thanks in advance to Stack Overflow.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Stack Overflow is a great resource.
What server-side application are you using? You mentioned EC2, but you're talking about Parse as well. So what is the server infrastructure or software that you're using?
What is the server infrastructure?
Yeah.
Okay. It's simply the parse.com itself, if you see.
Can you repeat that?
Parse.com. Parseplatform.org.
That's different. Can you send a link?
Yes, sure.
Once we get some. Pass. Okay. Let's see the context. Feel free to. Does it seem to you? Passion development?
Yeah, that's probably not it.
Probably not it. Data platform. Have you sent a link?
Yes, sir. I have sent it. Yes, I did. I did send the link.
By what means?
No, there is a group chat right on this thing on the Hangouts itself.
Yes, I have it.
Good.
Me. Yes. Have you received it?
Yeah, I see it. I'm just opening it now so people can have it.
I got a few. Parse platform.
This one.
All right, good. We went through all possible all variations of spelling English. So English ambiguous.
So your backend is in JavaScript, right?
The backend is in JavaScript, sir. I'm really not very familiar with the parts till now. I still have to see this thing. I mean, the point is, whatever the code I will write, it will be on the Android itself, and I don't plan to write a server-side code. So what I'm really concerned about is that that my Parse server, it stores the values, and then I'm writing the queries from the Android Studio itself to retrieve those values.
Yeah. Okay. So you basically are using it as a kind of a value store.
Yes, that's it. I'm not planning to write any server-side code here.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're focusing on the mobile front end.
Yes.
And the logic.
Yes.
But
I do see this thing that if I write a server-side code, then it will be perhaps more secure compared to if I write a code on my Android Studio itself to retrieve those values.
that's true. And also there is a question of coordination. So the clients, you can do all the coordination between the triggers and the behaviors of the clients on the client side, but that is a bit complicated.
Correct.
sometimes it's easier to centralize it in the server, and then you load.
Yes, definitely it is. Yeah.
So it's just basically just a MongoDB instance, right?
Yes, correct.
And you basically write anything you like, and then you do your coordination.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Right.
Sounds good.
That's feasible.
All right. So you missed the beginning of the class today?
Sir, actually, I was there from the very beginning itself, and I was doing my best to find the Hangouts link and trying to connect.
Okay, good. So yeah, you know about the video presentations, right?
Actually, my attention was on finding the Hangouts link, so I will go through the video again.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So please watch the beginning, and after we go around the table, we kind of discuss the video preparation for the presentations for the class in like 2 weeks' time. So we I will post it on Blackboard, but effectively we will spend some time this and next week preparing the videos, presentations for the work that have been done so far, and then we will use the consecutive week for viewing the presentations and providing feedback for other students.
Okay, so when is the deadline of this report and this project submission?
Yeah, so I will check with Christopher and Simon about the oral exam, and we will have a deadline for submission like a week before the oral exam, right? So we will agree on the suitable time.
Yes, but roughly, can you guess? Is it end of November or beginning?
End of November, beginning of December. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because we're quite flexible with the oral exams, we tend to have them a little bit later usually. Yeah.
Okay. That thing is okay. And the presentation is just after 2 weeks, huh?
Yes. So the video presentations will be after 2 weeks, and then the oral exam and the discussion on the projects will be towards the end of November, I would think.
Okay, and it is very much possible that while doing the presentation itself, your project is not completed, right?
That's correct. So if your project is not completed, you will just present on the video presentation the state of where you are at the moment and what needs to be done.
Sure.
So yeah.
Okay, sir.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we have one more student.
It's a game student.
It's the game, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So for us, I think that's it. We get a very simple project updates and describe the video presentations. What's left is for me to put the deadlines on the Blackboard and discuss with Simon and you about the oral exam. And then I will post it on Blackboard. If you have any roadblocks or any technical problems, or if you need any help with OBS, then ask your fellow students or us, so don't get stuck. Yeah. And that's it. All right, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I will stop.